Freesia Race. The Freesia Race is the mysterious race of which Friesa's family are a part of. The race is first introduced in the series in the Namek saga of Dragon Ball Z. The species have been referred to as the Frost Demons and Friesias colloquially. In Dragon Ball fusions, they are considered part of the alien race. Not much is known of their origins, as their home planet is never seen. All known members of this race in Universe 7 in the manga and anime have been from a solitary family line, Friesia's family. Among their race, some members of Friesia's family are abnormally strong mutants with an abnormal level of cruelty, 6, with the exception to Cooler, 8, and Frieza. Their naming structure is derived from things related to low temperature. Most of Friesia's family are employed in high-status positions under a massive Freesia force, which they also run. They also pride themselves as being the strongest race in the cosmos, though none of them possess the same level of power and cruelty as Freesia and King Cold, as they are both mutant members of the species. As they gain power, they create for themselves new forms to disguise their actual power levels from opponents and allies alike. Transforming up into their next form greatly increases their power level, leading to the idea that the forms work like buffer zones to hold in such intense levels of energy. Frieza states that he transforms to keep himself under control with his power. The buffer zones, along with policies of Friesa's empire such as wiping out even races working under him if he views them as a threat and viewing mercy as only a means to get oneself killed, all hint at an untrusting civilization or an inherent untrusting nature within this race. Origins. The home world of this species is unknown. They are shown to own many planets and mostly reside in spaceships, traveling between the worlds their organizations are currently operating on. Freesia is said to own at least 448 planets, and his brother at least 256 planets. Language. During the fight between Freesia and Goku, Freesia talks to Goku in his native language briefly, saying, "Alivi 6 Vivial," which specifically meant, "Let's get down to business." 9. However, this only occurred in the original Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Z, and the Japanese original never mentioned a native language. Biology. Most members of Friesia's race have red pupils and bodies covered in white, keratinous exoskeletons. They also have reptilian features such as a long tails, 3 talon-like toes, spikes, and horns. They are adorned with colored gem plates on the head, torso, ankles, wrists, and shoulders. They are also venomous, with some individuals possessing toxic stingers on their wrists. Members of Friesia's race can possess hair, though this is uncommon. 10. Throughout the universe it is not common knowledge to know if Friesia's race possess genders, though Freesia is mentioned to have a mother in the English anime and video games. It was said by Akira Toriyama that Freesia was born from cold alone, implying females of their race don't exist. The Dragon Ball collectible card game also notably refers to Freesia, Cooler, and Cold as being males, while it lists no sex races like Namekians as not having genders. In Dragon Ball Xenoverse, while choosing the race of the future warrior custom character, Friesia's race is available with only one gender. The Galactic Patrolman Jaco is also unaware of whether or not Friesia's race possess genders, and in Xenoverse 2, it is heavily implied by one Freesia race NPC that the race only has one gender. Akira Toriyama also mentioned in an interview that Freesia was born of King Cold alone, although the interviewer noted that it was ambiguous as to what Toriyama meant by that. Healing abilities. Some members of Friesia's race possess an ability to survive horrific injuries and still live/function. Cooler's brain was able to be assimilated by the Big Geat star after he was pushed into the sun, despite there being nothing left of him but an eye and a fragment of brain tissue. Freesia survived being bisected by his death saucer, and Mecha Freesia even lived after being vertically sliced in two, as his vision was cut in two as a result, before being cut to pieces by future Trunks' shining sword attack, only dying after these pieces were obliterated by the technique's finishing blast. However, this leaves them in critical condition, unable to move and unable to heal themselves, naturally requiring technology like cosmic suits, synthetic modification, or a medical machine to heal themselves. In some cases a key transfer may also revive them somewhat depending on the nature of said injury, like how Freesia was able to levitate and attack Goku with his last Emperor, after receiving a key transfer from Super Saiyan Goku, after he cut himself in two. Some members, such as Freesia, are able to heal themselves via transformation. When he transformed into his final form, he regenerated his tail, which had previously been cut off by Krillin's Destructo Disc. After transforming into his third form, the bleeding from his tail stopped, though it was not completely healed until Freesia transformed into his final form. This process can also apparently work in reverse, as after Mecha Freesia was revived in pieces by a wish to Shinran and those pieces were placed inside a medical machine, Frieza was completely restored after reverting from his synthetically modified final form back to his first form, though it is heavily implied that this was assisted by the advanced medical machine technology, as Mecha Frieza's attempts to pull the pieces of himself together with telekinesis failed. Even partial members like Cell benefited from this ability, which was further augmented by his Namekian ability of regeneration and Scion power. Racial abilities. Frieza's race are able to grow clothing on themselves, referred to as bio-suits. Thus, even when it seems as though a member of Frieza's race is unclothed, they are generally wearing bio-suits. These natural clothes can be removed at will or replaced with newly grown clothing. However, some members of this race, such as Frieza and King Cold, prefer to wear artificial clothing/armor, while others like Cooler seem to prefer wear only their natural armor. Frieza's race have a much higher speed than other races, and when they are heavily injured their speed increases. Some members of the race have been shown to possess the ability to transform into several forms, each holding different power and speed capabilities. Some are also shown to capable of surviving even the most horrific injury, though others do not have this trait, and all are able to survive even in the vacuum of space. As shown by Mecha Frieza, if a Freesia race member with the ability to survive horrific injuries is revived, they will be resurrected in the state they were in before death. Due to the extraordinary circumstances, Shinran initially rejected the wish on the grounds it would be a wasted effort to revive someone in such a state despite being fully capable of doing so, with Mecha Frieza being in pieces that attempted to reform but failed to do so and required advanced medical intervention. Transformations. Members of Frieza's race have been shown to possess transformations. The transformations are used to suppress one's power so they do not exert too much energy. Frieza also implies that another reason for the transformations were as a means to maintain self-control to avoid losing restraint of their powers. First form. The first form is very short and lean in built. The horns protrude at the 45-degree angle. While in this form, Frieza is shown to have more than enough power to kill King Vegeta and blow up Planet Vegeta, both with ease. This form is also utilized by Frost as shown when he first met Goku. Second form. This race's second form looks somewhat similar to his first, except it is noticeably taller, very muscular, and overall more mature in comparison. In this form, Frieza had no problem picking apart Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan. It is not until Piccolo arrives after fusing with Nail that Frieza has any sort of challenge while fighting. Third form. Next is the third form, which for Frieza looks less humanoid than the other forms. This form has a reformed mouth, elongated head, spikes sprouting from the back. After the newly powered-up Piccolo proves to be too much for Frieza's second form, Frieza transforms into this form, quickly regaining the advantage in the battle. Frost is also a user of this form, though it is called his second form in promotional material and artwork, while it is called Frost's assault form in the anime. In this form, Frost's skull is elongated, his nose combines into his mouth to form a crude beak. His original horns don't change their shape and there isn't any spike growing out of his back, and the armor on his shoulders fling themselves outward like shoulder pads with indigo sections. Frost transforms into this after he is asked by Goku to show his true power. This form gives Frost even greater power and an edge over Goku's base form, although Goku was still warming up, however he is sorely outclassed by the Super Saiyan form. True form. The fourth form, also known as the true or base form, Frieza mentions this form to be his true form during his battle against Vegeta, with the other forms acting as camouflages. It is referred to as the third transformed state by Cooler. It is similar in appearance to the first form in terms of size and bulk, but with smoother skin structure. Frieza's version of this form is completely white except from purple plates on the chest, head, shoulders, lower arms, and lower legs. Cooler's version is significantly different, having a purple form with a seemingly chest armor, ankle guards, arm guards, and helmet of white. Frost's form is similar to Frieza's, albeit a silver head and chest, blue arms, and black waist, thighs, and tail. When Frieza takes this form, Piccolo and Vegeta prove to be no match for him. However, when Goku transforms into a Super Saiyan, Frieza quickly finds himself outmatched in every way, causing him to resort to his 100% power form. Frost also is shown in that form, took on a normally refraining from using this form as to not kill anyone as he unintentionally once did. 100% full power. A member of Frieza's race can take on the more powerful 100% full power state if they know how to. Only Frieza and Frost are able to take on this form. This form drains stamina fast, and even after he had mastered his final form and achieved perfect energy control, Frieza noted this was still the case, meaning that this form is only used for winning a fight quickly. Super evolution. His form is a Super Evolution 12, which increases the user's power substantially, unlike the other terrifying super transformations which are simply suppressions of the user's true power. This form has shoulder bows, a crown shape with 4 horns, spikes on the back and a stinger on the tail. The face is covered by a face mask hiding all facial features except the eyes, which becomes pupilless and red. It is referred to as the 4th transformation by Cooler, Daizenshu 7, and several video games. This 5th form is primarily used by Cooler, although Frieza achieves it in Cooler's ending in the PSP game Dragon Ball Z, Shin Budokai, Another Road. It is called Cooler, final form, in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, a reference to the fact it is his final biological transformation. Ultimate Evolution. Ultimate Evolution, Golden Frieza. This form is the strongest form of the Freesia race, the only shown user of the form being Frieza. The form itself is named as Ultimate Evolution, however Frieza possesses his own distinct version of it named Golden Frieza. It is implied that the user can choose the color of the form. This is hinted when Frieza says that he made his form golden. In this form, Golden Frieza outclasses Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form. However, the overwhelming power the form presents comes at a great cost. The form is very taxing on the user's stamina, which causes their power to drop the longer they are in the form, and as such the state cannot be held for long periods of time unless getting used to the form. This is why Frieza inevitably lost against Super Saiyan Blue Goku. It is implied that this downside can be avoided via further training, as Goku mentioned that Frieza made the mistake of rushing into battle as soon as he got the form. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.